everybody, JC here from TNINews International, and I'm coming at you with another TNINews video. It's been a while since I've done one, but I wanted to slip one in before we enter into Thanksgiving this coming week. So Thursday's Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have a happy and safe Thanksgiving and are able to spend it with friends and family. And then of course the day after, or in some cases the day of, will be Black Friday. So I'm sure a lot of you will be out trying to score a bunch of toys and stuff on Black Friday. Though personally, I've never found Black Friday to be a great day to actually go out and do toy hunting, but that's just me, and I live in an area that kind of sucks. But anyway, we've got a lot to cover in the news department. First being that DC Collectibles, they released their new batch of solicitations yesterday, and in that was the first wave of DC Essential figures. So these are the 7-inch type scale figures that they announced during San Diego Comic-Con, and these are essentially what's replacing the Icons line. And the first wave is going to include the Rebirth Batman figure, Flash, Deathstroke the Terminator, and then what we're seeing for the first time, Reverse Flash. Now the Batman figure is said to stand just a little bit over 7 inches tall, and then the other three are all going to stand just under 7 inches tall. And these figures are said to have just essential accessories. That's why it's called the DC Essentials line. So they're not going to be chocked with lots of things like lots of pairs of hands and such. Now some of the figures like Batman looks like will come with his Batarang, and Deathstroke should come with a pistol and I believe a sword. In the image you can see as a sword sheath, so I imagine he's going to have an actual sword even though it's not pictured here, and it looks like he may have a knife as well. So you will get a few accessories with some of these figures, just not as many as we saw with the Icons line. Now the MSRP, or suggested retail price, looks like these are going to cost $26 each. Also this week, it looks like the DC Batman the Animated Series 6-inch scale Joker mobile is going to be canceled. I have not gotten official confirmation from DC Collectibles on that. I reached out to them but have not heard back. A lot of times they don't actually comment on these cancellations, but Diamond Distributors is listing that item now as canceled. So unfortunately, it does not look like that vehicle is going to see release. That was something they showed off during San Diego Comic-Con. I'm assuming they probably did not get enough retail interest in it. I know personally I talked to a few local comic book store owners when the Batcave came out, and some of them didn't even order that one because they had such problems selling the Batwing the year before. You know, these comic book shops, they just can't be stuck with these really expensive items. So if they're not moving, you know, even one or two, they basically are choosing not to order them. And I'm guessing that's what's happened with these large vehicles. I know the Batmobile, the original Batmobile, did pretty well, but I think kind of each year the interest in those large scale vehicles has dropped more and more. And, you know, again, I don't have that confirmed by DC Collectibles, but based on what we're seeing from Diamond, it really isn't looking good for the Joker mobile. If I get an official update from DC Collectibles, I'll be sure to update you guys on that. In other DC news, Tomasi Nations released official images for their upcoming SH Figure Arts Justice League movie Flash and Superman figures. Now, the movie itself, which opened last weekend here in the United States, actually performed pretty badly at the box office, under $100 million. It was originally projected to make about 110, and even that wasn't a stellar forecast, but it underperformed from that. And so really, you know, that's not a good sign for these DC movies. I don't know where that leaves the franchise. Only time will tell. But movie definitely did not perform well at the box office. As for these figures, though, Tomasi Nations released the official images for the Flash and Superman, which we had seen at like San Diego Comic-Con. Flash really doesn't look like it's going to have a whole lot in the way of accessories, a couple different pairs of hands, and I believe will come with a figure stand. Flash is going to be out in May and is said to stand 6.10 inches tall. And then the Superman figure is said to have an alternate head, that outraged head with the red heat beams, and then we'll also have a couple different pairs of hands and a figure stand. Superman is due out in July and is said to stand 6.3 inches tall. Okay, switching gears from DC to Dragon Ball Z, I wanted to share some news with you guys released to us last week from Bandai America. They sent us some information about some variant figures for their 6.5-inch Dragon Stars line. These figures are going to be based on the Dragon Ball FighterZ video game. These figures are GameStop exclusives. They are essentially just repaints of the Vegeta and Super Goku figures that they previously did, but again, based on the looks from the new video game. These figures, as I mentioned, are GameStop exclusives and should be out towards the end of January. January 24th is the official release date for these, and they are currently up for pre-order at the GameStop website. For Transformer news, Takara released some information via some magazine scans that have hit social media. These are a crossover between Transformers and Street Fighter, specifically the Street Fighter II video game. These scans come from Planet Icon, and I'll put a link to them in the video description below. And you can see from these scans that they're again, essentially Transformer repaints to make it look like Street Fighter characters. To me, the only one that really looks like anything remotely like a Street Fighter character is the Chun-Li figure. But there's also Ken and Ryu and Vega and M. Bison. So again, if you're into Street Fighter and Transformers, this might be something you want to check out. No word on whether we'll see these carry over to Hasbro with a domestic release. I don't have much specific information like release dates and such, but again, if you're into Transformers and Street Fighter, this is something you might want to keep an eye on. In other news, a couple weeks ago, it was announced via the Wall Street Journal that Hasbro was making another attempt to buy Mattel, toy company Mattel. Now, while there's not a lot of specific details on what the offer was or anything, according to Reuters, the initial offer at least was declined by Mattel, and it's unclear whether negotiations continue between the two companies or if that was the end of it or what have you. Again, there's very little details about this, but definitely it looks like Hasbro is trying to basically buy up its competitor with Mattel. And a large part of this isn't the first time that these two companies have talked about merger. Now, there's been a lot of debate on the internet of whether this would be a good thing or a bad thing if Hasbro and Mattel merged and became one company. I know a lot of you who are DC comic fans are excited about the prospect of possibly getting Marvel Legends style DC figures. Now, the thing to keep in mind about that is if this actually ever happened, there's no guarantee that Mattel would continue to do DC comic figures under the new Hasbro banner. I don't know what licenses would actually transfer. I mean, Mattel doesn't actually own DC. They just have the license rights from Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers could possibly pull the license rights and give it to somebody else or what have you. So, there's by no means any guarantee that even if this deal ever happened, we would ever see DC style Marvel Legends. I certainly would love to see that. Now, obviously, the repercussions in the toy world and the toy industry would be far more reaching than that if this merger actually happened. A lot of you have commented about how monopolies generally aren't good. They would probably become the largest toy company out there, and it would be harder probably for smaller toy companies to really get a foothold and such. So, there's definitely some drawbacks to this if it actually happened. I don't know. I would have to see, the final details of the deal and everything before I could really, weigh in on whether I liked it or not. But again, there's a lot of repercussions that would happen with this beyond just any one particular toy license if the merger happened. But I would definitely be interested to hear from you guys and whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing if the two companies merged. Definitely comment down below and let me know. Okay, now switching to the Marvel front. Today we got some images of the upcoming Revoltech Carnage figure. So this is the next figure in the line from Kyoto, and definitely this is what I haven't been a huge fan of this line in general, but this one really, at least based on these initial images, which come via social media. Manuel posted these images on his Twitter account. I'll put a link to that in the video description. But definitely this figure looks pretty sweet, and like I said, I'm not always a fan of these Revoltech figures, but this one I definitely think possibly is the best looking of these Marvel Revoltech figures that I've seen. I don't have a lot of details on this figure at this time. It'll be released sometime next year, and I'm sure more details and images will be coming soon. But if you're a fan of the Yamaguchi Revoltech line, then this is one you probably definitely want to check out. Diamond Select Toys today released the first image for their upcoming 7-inch scale Marvel Select Black Panther movie figure. This figure is said to have 16 points of articulation and come packaged with a diorama combining the Wakanda technology with a rocky terrain. The figure is sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios and will be released this spring at comic and specialty stores. In other news, the Marvel Legends Black Panther wave, the one with the superior Iron Man and the new Black Bolt and Submariner and Green Trunks, and then the Black Panther movie figures, is going to be out at the end of this month or early next month. Places like Big Bad Toy Store have it listed with a release of the end of this month, but I think technically the official release date is the beginning of January, so we'll see if they actually come out a little bit early or not. And again, they are up for pre-order at many places like Big Bad Toy Store. Hasbro this weekend released some packaged images for the upcoming Ghost Rider and Black Widow figures with the motorcycles. Now, unfortunately, these were posted to Hasbro's Instagram Pulse account, and so we still don't really have high-res images of these. I've been trying to get those from Hasbro. They tell me they're working on it, so with going into the holiday, I don't know if it'll be this week before I have them, but hopefully I will have high-res images, and mainly I want the high-res images so we can get a good look at the alternate head sculpt for the Black Widow figure. You do get 2 head sculpts with this set, so I've really not gotten a good look at both head sculpts at the conventions and stuff. So, and unfortunately, because this image, the quality isn't that great, we still don't really have a good look at the second head sculpt. Now, the Ghost Rider figure is going to come with alternate handlebars for the motorcycles, so you get that regular pair of handlebars along with the Ghost Rider type motorcycle handlebars. So that's kind of cool. These are due out in spring of next year, which basically means early next year, and these should cost about $50 each. They are not yet up for pre-order any place yet, but probably within the next month or so, you'll probably start seeing pre-orders open up for these. Now, one final thing I wanted to share with you guys on the Marvel Legend front. Now, this is completely rumor. I do not have these confirmed. And in fact, the source that gave me this information has had some reliability, but it's not one that I would say 100%, I feel confident in. So take this with a grain of salt. But I do have a rumored list for the upcoming Marvel Legends, first wave of Marvel Legends Infinity War figures. And while, again, I can't confirm this 100%, it seems pretty logical that these are the figures that we'll be seeing. Now, 3 we do know 100% are coming, the 3 comic book-based figures, the Songbird figure, the classic Taskmaster figure, and the King Cobra figure. All of those have been confirmed for being in this first wave, and we saw at the conventions and such. But the remaining figures, now this one, I'm not sure if it's a movie-based figure or a comic book-based figure. I don't know, the source didn't know which one it is. But Proxima Midnight, she is supposed to be in the movie, so this, again, could be a movie figure or it may be a comic book-based figure. I just don't know for sure. And then the other figures are movie versions, Infinity War versions of Captain America. So I'm assuming Steve Rogers with the beard, like we've been seeing images kind of floating around. And then Iron Man and whatever new armor he's going to be wearing for the movie. And then Spider-Man, who is supposed to be wearing that, essentially the suit that we saw at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. That's what he's supposedly wearing in the Infinity War. So those are the figures that are rumored to be in this upcoming wave. So again, I don't have that officially confirmed, but I felt good enough about the source that I would go on and share the information with you guys. Love to hear your thoughts. Are you excited for those figures? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't have any kind of release date, though I do suspect they will be out before Comic-Con next year in July. And then finally, I just wanted to share with you guys that the DC Multiverse 6-inch Justice League movie Parademon and shirtless Aquaman figures, those were the final 2 exclusive figures for the Justice League movie that had not yet been released, have started to hit shelves. They are Toys R Us exclusives. The Parademon figure does not come with any kind of collect and connect piece. However, the shirtless Aquaman figure does. He comes with an alternate head for the Steppenwolf Collect and Connect figure, and basically with this head sculpt you get a removable helmet. And again, those are hitting shelves. They are not yet listed on the Toys R Us website, but they are starting to hit physical shelves. I have not yet been able to find them myself, but I do know they are hitting shelves now. All right, guys, that's it for this week. I'm not going to be doing a Q&A. I will try and get back to the Q&As maybe next time, which would probably be sometime next week. If you do have a burning question you'd like me to try and answer, please feel free to ask it down below and just put Q&A next to it. And again, I will try and get to it in the next news video. Again, hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving this week. And until next time, always please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button down below. Also, feel free to follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, guys, I will catch you later.